Hi, in this video I'm going to show you the PlayMaker integration of the Unity ads system. So this sample is available on the ecosystem, and I'm going to quickly show you how it's done, and then we are going to do it from scratch together and publish on the device to see how it works. So it's actually very simple to set up. The main action you will need is the Unity ads show ad. And with this, it's going to trigger the advertisement, and you will need to catch the ready, success, skipped, and failed event. And with this, you'll know exactly what's going on. There are a few more actions to get feedback on what's going on, like if the ad is ready or if it's showing and if it's actually supported. So when we play it in the editor, it will always fail. You have to test on the device, but you can get already some very good feedback here. Like if I click on show ad, it will say that it's showing, it's supported, and it's ready. However, in editor, you will always get a failed event. I don't know why, but that's like that. So from scratch, I've got an empty project here, and I'm going to the very first thing is you need to be signed in, otherwise you won't be able to create your advertisement ID for the project. So first I'm going to import PlayMaker. PlayMaker is here. Okay. If you're in 5.2 and less, you can install the 1.7.8.4, but if you're on 5.3, you will need to install the 1.8 beta. I'm currently on 5.3, so let's do that. Okay. Okay, so let's ignore that for now. The next thing to do is to import the ecosystem. Yeah, okay, I'm good with this. The ecosystem is available on, that. The ecosystem is available on the PlayMaker website under the wiki link. So if you click on the wiki, you will find the main page, and it's in add-ons, ecosystem browser. And here you can actually download the ecosystem browser package. So I've got it on my computer already, so I'm going to import it from there. So ecosystem browser. Okay. And now I can access it. Let me stop this. And you can access it from the link, but I usually do simply Alt-E as a shortcut. And here, if you type Unity ads, you will get all the related custom actions you need for using Unity ads. So let's get the one we want. We only need actually the show ad, the last one. That's the one. Okay, so it's installing that action. And what I will need is the UGUI proxy. I'm going to get the full one. Okay, import. Okay, The first thing you need to do within Unity is to set up the advertisement service. So you go, again, make sure you're signed in, you go into your services, you enable the ads, enable the ad monetization system, and the platform supported by iOS and Android. We are going to support both. We have to make sure that enable test mode is on while you're developing. You only need to uncheck this when you go live on the various stores. In the Advanced tab, you will have your game ID for iOS and Android. You don't need to really care about this because Unity is automatically initializing the advertisement system. If you read the doc for setting up Unity advertising system, it will tell you to download a package from the asset store, but really you should not. If you're on 5.2 and up, it's already there. I don't know why they haven't updated it, but if you check the modules, advertisement is downloaded and ready to be used. So double check before installing any package from Unity that your advertisement module is there. If it is there, don't. Once we've got that, we are ready to test. We need to first switch the platform to either iOS or Android. So let's do that now. Let's switch to iOS. Okay, so now we've switched. Let's wait for YouTube to finish compiling. Okay, let's create a game object, create empty, and we're going to call that Ad Manager. And clean up the scene so it's not necessary, but I don't like having dummies everywhere in the scene. So we have an FSM, we're going to call it Ad Manager, and we're not going to do anything yet here, and we're going to have a state with the global event show ad that we're going to trigger from the UI here, and here in that state we are going to show the ad. And for this we need to use the action we've downloaded, show ad, and you don't need to care about Don ID and Game SID. I don't really know what they do. It's not very documented here. I think you need that if you are going to do some more corner cases in complex games, but for your regular game, you don't need that. You will, however, need to catch all of those events in order to react properly in your game. So you need to catch the is not ready. You need to catch a success one, success event, success, skipped, and failed. This is going to be your way to know, for example, if you want to reward the user when he watched an ad to give him coins or, I don't know, gems. You should only reward the user if you catch the success event. If you catch a skipped, you know that the user was actually shown the ad but decided to skip the ad, and so you should not reward it. And failed and is not ready is simply like telling you that a problem occurred. So let's create a state for each zone. Failed. Success and not ready. So now I don't have any UI, but I can already test if that works by allowing the show ad global event to be featured as a button within the PlayMaker FSM script. And when I play, I can actually trigger it. And so yes, the Unity ad service is up, and it tells me in Unity Editor that here I will get an ad when I will publish it on the device. And if I close, well, you already know it from the PlayMaker FSM that it failed. But it's only because we are in the editor. When you will be deploying on the device, it will properly succeed or be, showing you the skipped success is not ready or failed. A quick note here. If you are offline, the Unity ad services do not fail if internet is not available, which is odd, but that's how it works. So you will not get a failed event if the user is offline, which means you could find yourself cornered within your logic if you don't check before that you are online or offline. So that's just something to know and to be aware of, okay? So now that we've got here the advertisement FSM working, we need to now trigger that from a button in the interface. And we've downloaded the UGUI proxy full system, so we've got everything to work with UGUI. The first thing you need to do is to add the prefab PlayMaker UGUI inside your scene, okay? And then we're going to create a button. We're going to center it on screen by pressing Shift Alt Center. I'm going to make it slightly bigger, and the text as well. One important setup that I use for the canvas when I want to test in various screen size and I want to be sure that it's working pretty well is to always use scale with screen size and use my resolution. For example, let's say that I'm iPhone 12. You see, it doesn't look good because I need to say that the reference resolution is 320 by 480. And I will design everything using that iPhone 12 320 by 480 and then use this canvas scaler setup for scale with screen size with a 0.5 match. So now if I go bigger in size, it will adjust in a very simple way. You may want some more complex resolution scale mode, but this one I found is the most convenient one for testing. And now we want to catch that the user clicked on this button and fired the event show ad. There is for these two techniques. Either you directly connect the unclick event from the button to the PlayMaker send event function, and you will need to type show ad, and that will work. However, there is another technique. I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use the UGUI component proxy, which will allow me to, for example, do a broadcast. So I don't really care who is listening to show ad. What I just want is every time I click on this button, I want to fire. So I want to fire the event show ad, and it properly detected that this is a global event, so we're fine. So here, anywhere in the scene, if you have an event show ad, it will catch it. Let's see if it works. I should be good. Let me rename this to show ad. Okay. Now, if I select the ad manager, and we're good. So, as we expect, in Unity Editor, you get the fail, but it will work in the device. Okay, let's save this. Okay, we need some feedback Because if something happens, we need to know what happens. So we're going to create here a new text. I'm going to center it again by pressing Shift and Alt, center, and move it down a bit. Center it, make it way bigger, and I'm gonna change the camera because it's not very nice. Solid color, something like that. Oh. Don't worry about the aliasing here. When things get bigger in resolution, the text is properly aliased, so it will look good. And here, the default label will be initializing. Okay. And what I'm going to do in the ad manager, on start, I'm going to simply check if ready. And for this, I don't think I've downloaded the action yet, so Unity Ads is ready. So I want to check when and if Unity Ads Services is ready. So I'm going to get this one. Okay, and now it's available. Unity Ad is ready. Yes, that's the one. Okay, and I want to catch just the is ready event, and I'm going to make is ready. Okay, and when it's ready, what I want to do is I want to transit to a new state, is ready. And what I want to do here is to change the text of the label to advertisement is ready. So I'm going to do UGUI text, and I've got this one, UGUI text set text. So those actions from the UGUI are part of the UGUI proxy full that I've downloaded from the ecosystem earlier on. I don't want to target this game object, which is the ad manager. I want to target the label. Okay, and I'm going to do add is ready. Okay, and let's see if that works already. So if I press play, I expect the initializing text to switch to is ready. Yeah, add is ready. Okay, so here we can actually make sure that the service Unity, the Unity service is initializing by default. On earlier version of Unity, maybe 4 and earlier version of 5, you may have to use the PlayMaker. You may have to use Unity Ads. You may have to use Unity Ads initialize, but I found that on 5.2 and 5.3 it does that automatically, so you don't even need that. And we are sure that it works simply because it says here that it's ready. Ad is ready. If I show ad, that works. If you would still get initializing and click on show ad, then you would not get this because the services would not yet be ready, basically. Okay, so now I'm going to plug the rest of the states so that the label is properly showing the right feedback when the user clicks on show ad. So here I'm going to do another set text. Come on, set text. And again, I'm going to have to select the label, but I'm going to stop doing this because here I already have a reference. Here I would have to have a second reference. So instead, I'm going to create a variable of type GameObject called label, UI label. I'm going to show it in the inspector, and I'm going to drag the label there. And then within all those actions, instead of doing hard-coded drag and drop, I'm going to simply reference the UI label. And now, not ready. Here, I'm going to say success. Skipped. And here, failed. Okay, I won't be able to test those states because they only work on the device. And so that's what we're going to do now. We're going to publish. And the first thing we need to make sure is that we've got the build settings properly set up. Here we don't have any scenes yet, so we have to add the open scene. PlayMaker add test, so this is the scene we want to publish. In the PlayMaker settings, make sure you are set up to IL to CPP and that you're targeting the right device and SDK, but if you make it, for example, 8, you should be fine, and I want only iPhone. Okay, the rest should be good. So let's build it. I'm gonna call it iOS add. Okay, so I've got the iOS add Xcode project built, and now I'm going to open it in Xcode. Skip down. Okay, so I've got my iPhone plugged. Let me use reflector, which is a way for me to show you. Let me connect the device so that I can show you my device on screen. Done. Okay, so now I've got my phone here. You can see that. And I'm going to run it on the device. Okay, I'm going to spare you with the loading and running of Xcode. So I've already processed everything. I'm just going to hit play, and we're going to see it being loaded on the phone. Okay. Yes. Okay, and so we see that add is ready. So as we expected, the Unity add services was initialized by default without any action from us. And when I click on show add, it does display the add. I'm not too sure how you can change that. I think that in the dashboard online, you can set up the advertising to work with the orientation of the phone, but I'm not sure how to do that yet. So I've watched the ad, and because we are in development, we are only going to see the Unity ads because we are in test mode. And when I click close, indeed, the FSM detected that the ad was successfully shown. And now if I click again on show ad, but I will skip the ad now. Skip to one 0. So now I skip the video, and if I close it, it detected that we skipped. So here you have everything in order to know how the user reacted to the video being shown.